Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. And this is the match preview for Everton's FA Cup tie against Luton Town on Saturday. So I guess the main talking point I think to start off with is probably team selection and specifically the midfield. Obviously, certain circumstances mean that we're very light in the centre midfield options, and I think we all kind of knew this was going to be happening around this time. What with AFCON. Um, Obviously, it was thought at one point that both Ghana, Gay, and Decore would both be off there. It turns out it is only Ghana Gay, who's gone obviously with Senegal. But as fate would have it, Decore is injured anyway, so we're without him. And obviously, we've been without him since he didn't play the last game against Palace in the replay. Speculation is that we're probably going to be missing him for the next few games as well, which obviously is concerning. Obviously, for that Palace game, we adapted and had Gomez behind striker, which I actually thought worked quite well. To be fair, I thought Gomez actually had very good game. Scored the winner, of course, first free kick in 5 years or whatever it was, direct free kick. So proper collector's item that one. And it's now come out, of course, that he's injured as well. He suffered a setback, so he's not going to be available for this game either. So it does really just leave Amadou Onana and James Garner as the only two natural centre midfield options we've got left. So it's probably going to involve some sort of shuffle around. And obviously, a lot of people, I think, will be keen to see maybe Calvert-Lewin and Better up front together, which is something that's been talked about basically from the moment Better walked through the door and looked really sharp in his first few games. And then obviously Calvert-Lewin returned from injury and was really good for those first few games. And people are like, oh, imagine the chaos them two could cause together. And I'm probably going to go against a lot of people here, but I don't think it's something I want to see personally. I think, obviously we know how much Dyche loved the 4-4-2 system while he was at Burnley. I think if this was an option that he felt would be good for us, we would have gone for it by now. Obviously, we've seen it a couple of times, towards the end of matches when we're chasing them, chucking more attacking options on or whatever, trying to nick a goal when we're behind or whatever. But it's never something that we've started with, and I think there's probably a reason for that. And of course, one of those games, that I say where we adopted 4-4-2 pretty early and tried to go a bit more direct in that sense with more forward options was, of course, the defeat against Luton back in September. Definitely one of the more concerning and frustrating defeats we've suffered all season. Really, that 2-1 defeat at home to Luton, and that in a way, that's part of the reason I don't think it's the right thing to do here. Um, and I think personally, I want to go moving the wingers around a bit more again, and obviously, again, that opens up its own issues, of course, because Harrison's played behind the striker before and probably been the best out of the ones who's been tried there. Obviously, Danjuma's done it a couple of times, hasn't worked. And, some people maybe talk about McNeil doing it as well. That could maybe be an option. And for me, that probably does have to be what we do purely because Harrison has to play out on the right. I think Danjuma and McNeil have both shown that they're both so much better on the left for different reasons, really. I think it's McNeil being more natural on the left he just seems more natural out there. And similarly, Danjuma much prefers bursting in and cutting inside onto his favoured right foot rather than starting out on the right, if that makes sense. I think we saw it really clearly in the replay. Um, Not in the replay, sorry, in the first FA Cup round tie at Selhurst Park against Palace. Danjuma started out on the left, looking really good. McNeil was barely in the game. Second half, they swap. McNeil's really involved. Danjuma barely had a sniff in the second half. It's really strange. There probably is reasons for it, of course. And again, that was Harrison behind the striker, which again I thought actually worked quite well. He got quite a bit of stick that day, but I thought he had a good game. But as I say, I think he has to play out on the right. So, like I say, it's so many headaches and frustrations in with these injuries and the absences that we have to move things around a lot. Obviously, another option potentially on the right could have been Ashley Young. He's probably not going to be fit either. Obviously, he played in midweek for the under 21s. Uh, Against Benfica, played 75 minutes, but I just said in his press conference he's probably not going to be ready to, be involved straight from the off. So that's probably ruled out as well. So for me, I would have Danjuma left, McNeil in the middle, try that, and Harrison out on his natural right position. And think that might be what he goes with. The only other possible thing I can think of is that he maybe goes for Dobbin on the right. I'm not entirely sure how keen Dyche would be to start Dobbin out on the right. And obviously, that would involve Danjuma getting snubbed again. There's still speculation about whether or not he's going to leave for Leon on loan, of course, end his loan spell here. But obviously, that's still in our hands. All reports considered, apparently, it's a very odd situation. Um, and it does seem quite clear that Dyche isn't the biggest fan of him. He's not been starting probably as much as he would have wanted to, but at the same time, Dyche seems to be under the impression that he's going to be staying. So I don't know. It's an odd one, and I think this might be a good indication as to where the Danjuma situation's at. If he starts, probably means that he's going to stay. If he doesn't play, it almost certainly means that he might be off, or there might be nothing to read into it at all. I don't know, but it's like I said, that's definitely got to be, I think, the main talking point for this one, and then. Obviously, what I alluded to earlier, having played Luton once again this season and losing, obviously the circumstances really wasn't great. It was at the end of quite a poor run of results for us. But at the same time, it was when things were maybe starting to slowly turn around a bit, and it was during that spell where we were really struggling to even score at home. I think that was the first home goal we scored all season at the end of September. Crazy. Then it was a ugly bundled goal in as well. So. Yeah, it's in a way it's a bit of a benchmark. I think ever since then things have been a lot more positive, and obviously we had a bit of a nasty spell towards the end of December, a few like losses on the bounce, and now start of 2024 we yet to concede a goal, 3 games, uh, what was it, 2 draws and a win. So we're looking a bit more solid defensively again, but more concerns are starting to emerge about a scoring. Obviously Calvert-Lewin is in a nasty little goal drought. Um, I've spoken about it quite a bit before, and that I feel quite sorry for him, if I'm being completely honest. I think a lot of things have gone against him recently. Obviously, you look at the controversial red card against Crystal Palace when he was playing really well and we were playing really well, and it was looking like we were going to nick a winner. And obviously he was off the pitch, wasn't able to do that, and obviously the momentum kind of stunted once we went on to 10 men, of course. Which obviously, based on the appeal, the successful appeal, never should have happened in the first place. So there's obviously that frustration there. And then you look at the disallowed goal against Tottenham, which I think most of us have agreed should never have been disallowed. All sorts of VAR arguments. And yeah, like I said, I think a lot of things have gone against him recently, and I think, if I'm being brutally honest, I think he's been made out to be a bit of a scapegoat recently for the lack of goals. Don't think it's completely on him, and I still think his level of performance has been very high. He's doing the other things really well. Just needs that one goal to hopefully regain a bit more confidence, and hopefully it'll kick on from there. And hopefully that happens against Luton. So yeah, like I say, I think. It's another one of these games where I think confidence might drop a bit if we lose, and based on the manner in which we lose as well. If we never really get going, um, I think we could struggle. Again, obviously you think back to when we played Luton in September, and I think one of the main concerns for us was that it was one of the few games where we had a bit more of the ball. Obviously, the way Luton play, sit back a lot and hit teams on the break, which is kind of what we do. But with us being at home, I think there was maybe more pressure on us to try and play through them a bit more, which really isn't our game. And you imagine that with the way the midfield might be crafted about, um, it's probably not going to be the way we want to play on Saturday either. So I'm not sure if we plan for that or what the idea is for that, but you do start to think that the more we have of the ball, the more we might struggle in a crazy sort of way. It just seems to be our play style. And obviously, Luton have been gaining quite a bit of confidence recently as well. Their form's been, a lot better compared to what it was before. They're not winning games left, right, and centre, but they are picking up more points. Obviously, it all kind of links in, even though this is the cup, it all kind of links into that relegation battle idea and, getting one over on, you know, definitely one of the biggest rivals, I think, for that final relegation spot. You look at Sheffield United already basically look pretty doomed, even though there's maybe been small signs of positivity now Wilder's come in, but you think it's probably they're not gonna have enough. Obviously Burnley's still right down there as well again. Everyone's kind of just waiting for maybe something to click with company there, but that's just the longer it goes on, the more unlikely that seems to be. But Luton are definitely out of the three. teams that everyone expected to be down there who have come up, of course, are the ones that are definitely showing the most fight at the moment. So I guess it's all could all be like mental, psychological advantages if we manage to knock them out of the cup here with a good performance. It'll boost confidence around our supporters as well, and hopefully deflate them a little bit. So yeah, there's all sorts of things you can read into it, and obviously, probably still got to be the league, but another cup run would be nice. And as I say, it all helps psychologically. Winning games, no matter what competition it's in, it is definitely what we need to be doing with all the off the field stuff that's going on at the moment. And obviously, we don't know what sort of situation we're going to be in at the end of the season, so it's all about winning as much games as possible to try and make any, further punishments that might be coming in or punishments that might, remain in place, of course, with the 10 points. It's all about making sure that they matter as little as possible. And the only way to do that is to win as many games as possible, basically. So, yeah, nothing groundbreaking here. Like I say, it's just yeah, it's obviously, it's been a lot of FA Cup stuff in January, another, fourth round tie and that, and against Premier League opposition yet again. So, as I say, it'll be interesting to see what sort of team, Dyche goes with. I think the team I said at the start, with Danjuma left, McNeil in the middle, and Harrison in the right is what I guess we're going to try and do. I think. Apart from that, it's probably going to be McNeil, Harrison, and Dobbin on the right. I would be surprised to see two up top. I think a lot of people will probably be expecting that's what we're going to do, but uh, I imagine we're going to stick with the 4-4-1-1, whatever you want to call it. The what player behind the striker and the four midfield bank. And then obviously Patterson's got to play it right back because Coleman and Young aren't fit. And obviously Mikalenko, Bramford, and Tarkowski as expected. And I'd imagine Virginia's has done nothing to suggest he's going to be dropped again. He's played both FA Cup matches so far. I've played a bit in the League Cup as well. So I'd imagine he's going to be keeping his place in goal. And obviously Calvert-Lewin up front, who again I really want him to get a goal. I think I said that for the Palace game. That was the main thing I wanted him to break this, this duck, and then this drought. And obviously that didn't quite happen against Palace, but hopefully this can be the day he does it. And yeah, I'm going to say that's what's going to happen. I'm going to say we're going to win 1-0 again, and Calvert-Lewin's going to score the goal and hopefully kick on from there. So yeah, that's my prediction, and I guess that basically wraps this preview video up. So yeah, please leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment below giving your thoughts, what team you think that's going to go with, what you think the score will be. And please subscribe to the Toffee Blues channel for more Everton content, and we will see you in the next video. Cheers.